at Atlanta Falcons Radio Show. So get up, get out, and get something. Get in the zone. We live on the DT. Tune in, cause we about to blow like TNT. Falcons Central Radio Show. Gonna be berserk, you heard. We ain't even tripping, catching y'all slipping. What's good, man? On the Pro Football Central Radio Network, hosted by Aaron Freeman and Scott Carasik. What? This right here is a good present for you. Enjoy my presence like I was Santa Claus, man. Chillin', doing it.
Welcome back to another edition of the Falcons Central Radio Show. This week, we're going to have Corey Peters on, and hopefully our surprise guest comes through, and he pops on.
Yeah, we've been waiting a couple of shows to have him on, and unfortunately, scheduling issues have prevented him from being on, but hopefully, crossing our fingers, this will be the week we finally get to talk to him.
Yes, hopefully. But, that being said, Corey Peters, just leading into it, 2010 draft pick. When he got drafted, everybody was kind of like, why did we take a fifth-round guy in the third round? I think he's kind of proven that he's at least not a fifth-round guy anymore. He's at least proven that he's worth the third-round slot. He's proven that he's worth a starting spot on the team because he's been better than Prey Jerry.
Definitely.
I mean, he started 38 games over the past 3 years. Out of the 41 he's played more than Jerry. He's just better than Jerry. And I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that with his foot fully healed, he's going into his fourth season. Defensive tackles don't really mature until about 26, 27 years old. He's only 25. I'm just saying, I think this is going to be the year he kind of takes that next step.
I agree with you. Kind of has to be.
So we're going to ask him a couple things about the weight gain that I've heard about, which I hope it's true, because if he's around 305 and his body fat's around, and he's lost about 10% of body fat by doing that, that's insane. He'll be a beast. And that big body nose tackle that you and I and everybody else has been clamoring for will be already on the team.
Yep.
So
we are looking forward to that chat. And then later we'll get into our special guests, hopefully. We're being secretive about it because we're not 100%, we've been assured multiple times that he'll be on the show. So we don't want to give it away.
Exactly.
Too much. But I think, when people hear who it is, they'll be excited about it. And, other than that, what has been going on in football? It seems like everybody's off for the holidays because pretty much nothing happened this past week in the NFL.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it was a nice down week for football. I mean, yeah, you had a couple guys get arrested. Yeah, you had. I mean, one thing I will say that kind of jumped out here is Chris Wessling of NFL.com. He thinks that the Atlanta Falcons offensive line is going to take a leap into the next tier. They're going to end up as... How do I put this? They're going to end up as a way better unit than they were last year.
Okay.
So he thinks Cons at center is going to be an upgrade from McClure despite the, obvious experience differential. And the only real question is right guard. So I agree with him in a bit, but what are your thoughts on the right side of the line? I know we've touched on it a couple times, but the right side of the offensive line, center, right guard, right tackle, how do you think it's going to finish out?
Well, It's interesting because the last couple of years we've had some competitions in training camp, and every year we've been expecting guys to compete during the summer. But what's interesting is everybody that's gone into camp working with the first team has exited camp still as a starter. Guys have gotten close. I thought Mike Johnson gave Garrett Reynolds a run for his money in 2011. I thought Cons gave him a run for his money in 2012. So I guess the question is whether, can Garrett Reynolds go 3 for 3? And, I guess a lot of that's going to depend on what happens at right tackle. I think both you and I were expecting Lamar Holmes to take over that spot. He's been working behind Mike Johnson throughout OTAs. And so if history repeats itself, then it would seem that Mike Johnson will end up being the starter there. And then that probably means that Reynolds will open the season. But if Holmes can overtake Johnson, particularly early in camp, then maybe we see Johnson move to guard and we see him push there. And, who knows? Joe Hawley's in the mix somewhere.
See, that's the name that I was waiting for you to say.
Okay. Well, I had to say it because I knew you were going to bring it up. So, and I guess the question I have is, I've heard Hawley's going to be pushing Cons. I've heard Hawley's going to be pushing Reynolds, So it's going to be interesting to see how that battle plays out.
I've been kind of pushing some people that I know in the org, and they're just like, yeah, Cons is being pretty much handed the center job. So it's really Hawley's going to be he's going to be working as the backup center, but he's really competing for the right guard spot.
Yeah, that's what I've recently been the rumblings that I've been hearing too.
I mean, as crazy as it may sound, my preseason prediction my pre-camp prediction of, Baker, Blaylock, Hawley, Cons, and Holmes, if it ends up being Baker, Blaylock, Cons, Hawley, Holmes, I mean, I got the 5 right. It just had 2 of them flipped. But now that when you look into, I've been looking at a lot of Joe Hawley's college film because he doesn't really have that much in the pros. He played a lot of right guard in college. He played a lot of right guard. So he's used to the position. I'd say he's probably used to the position at right guard more than he is at center because he looked way more natural at right guard. So it may end up being a blessing in disguise that those 2 guys got flipped just by natural selection, if you will. But Cons is a center. Hawley is a right guard. It wouldn't shock me to see Johnson win the right tackle spot. I think he's kind of earned it just from he's just been busting his ass the last 3 years. It's been great to see. He's just been busting his ass the last 3 years. It's been great to see. So, I mean, we'll touch on this after we get in touch with Corey, though. Give me 1 second.
Yeah. We'll take a quick break and we'll be right back with Corey Peters.
Football fans, looking to get healthy this year? Now is the time, and I have the perfect place for you. Save 10% at onit.com/football radio. Exclusive PFC radio listeners save 10% off their order. That's onit.com, ONNIT.com/football radio.
Hello, everyone. This is Aaron Freeman. As we promised, we are here with Falcons defensive tackle Corey Peters. How you doing today, Corey?
I'm doing pretty good. No complaints.
Okay. Me and Scott were just talking about the, we've been hearing rumors through the grapevine that you've changed your physique. You added some muscle, lost some weight. Could you elaborate for us?
Well, this year's been, this off season has been completely different from last off season. Most of you guys know, I was injured all last off season, so not only did I miss all of camp, but I missed, basically all the time leading up to the chance to get ready for camp. So, I came in, I came back, I guess, about around 4 weeks into the season to start back working out really, and was out of shape and all those kind of things, and wasn't really able to fully get my feet under me until, really late in the season. So I think the last year was a disappointing year for myself. But this year I just had the opportunity to really kind of put that behind me and move forward, and, working out hard. I'm in pretty good shape. I've actually picked up a little weight, but my body fat has gone down. So that's a good thing. And right now I'm just kind of still working hard, trying to make the last little preparations going into training camp.
Okay, so how high are you on the scale right now, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm a little over 300.
Okay. So a leaner, meaner 300-pound Corey Peters in the middle of the defense, knocking some guys back. I can dig it. Now, as far as your role in Coach Nolan's defense, is it going to stay the same this year? What's changing about it?
Well, I think the thing is, I think first off, the base defense is still the same. It's the same system, but we're always trying to find the ways to be multiple and to kind of keep the offense off guard. As you can see, especially when we're playing really good quarterbacks, we always want to disguise what we're doing and that sort of thing, and that won't change. But as far as me, pretty much the same thing as I've been doing. Playing inside 3 technique and some nose too, and hopefully we'll be able to get a lot of pressure on the quarterback and do some things up front.
Okay. Corey, you mentioned last year was a bit of a disappointment for you because of the injury. What were some of the things that you learned, having to deal with that sort of adversity and that you can carry over into this year?
Well, the one thing, I can't say I learned it because I already knew it, but it kind of reinforced how important the off season was, and if you think that you can, kind of take it off and then just come back and be ready to go, it's not going to happen like that. And of course, the injury forced me to not be able to, when you're dealing with something in the foot, it's not like you can do other things really. Like I can't, when you can't even walk, you definitely can't ride a bike. You can't do anything. So, other than upper body lifting exercises, it's really hard to do that. So I really kind of took advantage of being able to do everything this off season, and I wanted to kind of push myself and make sure that I come into camp in the best shape that I've been in a long time, and hopefully I'll feel a huge difference, when the dog days of camp come and be able to continue to push forward.
Okay. So now tell me about your camp, because I'm looking here and I see that it's a performance camp in Louisville.
Yes. It's July 13th. We're having camp for some kids and ages 11 through 16. Registration starts at 8, and the camp actually starts about 9:30, and it'll be over around 1 o'clock. And basically what we want to do is we want to get out there and we're going to try to teach the kids a few different techniques. We'll have several NFL players out there, a variety of positions covered so that we can really give some good advice. And with the limited time, we don't want to get too deep into techniques and that sort of thing, but we want to kind of give them some things and some drills that they can take back and work on their own to help improve their skills.
Okay, sounds great.
Sounds like the kind of camp I wish I would have gone to growing up.
Yeah.
Well, I think they'll really enjoy it. And for anything, just opportunity to meet some NFL players, let them know that, whatever, if they want to play in the NFL, that's definitely a possibility. And, because, there are a fair amount of guys come out of Louisville, Kentucky, Michael Bush, C.J. Spielman out of San Francisco. There's several guys, but hopefully, those guys can kind of continue that and work hard and, get their schoolwork and try to have some positive influences.
Okay. And you said this camp was July 13th. Is it a multiple day or is it just a single day?
It's just one day.
Okay.
But like I said, they'll rotate through, and hopefully, depending on what position that they play or that they would like to work at, we'll get them some specialized attention.
Okay. Now, as far as the whole giving back thing, give me 1 second to formulate this. Starting from the top with Arthur Blank, has that been kind of worked into every player on the team, or is that something that they look for? Is those kind of guys that just give back, look towards the community?
Well, first off, I think if you'll pay attention to, the draft history since PD's been here, they go for good guys. There's a lot of guys in that locker room. I can't name, one bad guy, one guy that I wouldn't want I don't have any kids, but one guy that I wouldn't want my kids around, And I think that says a lot when you're talking about an NFL locker room. So, they definitely look for high character guys, and those guys tend to give back a lot. Now, the Falcons do have this rookie club that, they kind of, they get all the rookies out in the community early and get them to kind of get their feet wet in the Atlanta area with the different charities and that sort of thing. And I think that helps a lot with helping the guys to understand what's out there for them and, how much that needs to be done. So I think that after you go through that process, it's only necessary that you keep it up and kind of keep giving back.
Okay.
Corey, I wanted to ask you, getting back to football, the Falcons lost a great player, one of my all-time favorites, in John Abraham this offseason. And it seems like, some of the key players, like yourself and Sean Weatherspoon now, are being asked to step up and become more of the leaders that previous veterans tended to be. What is your approach to being more of a leader? Is that something that you fully embrace, or is it just, if you need to fill the space, then so be it?
Well, I tell you, it's been a unique experience. I guess I didn't really understand what, kind of what all of that entailed until the start of, OTAs and that sort of thing. When, I look around and I'm the second oldest defensive lineman behind Bass, and then OC's still new, so he's kind of still learning. So, even then I'm third, which is, I guess, a unique situation for me, coming in 3 years ago and actually being blessed enough to find my way into the starting lineup and kind of being the young guy on the defense when, so, you know how that works. So that's different. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm really excited about it. I think that we have all we need on the defense, on the offense, the whole team to, make a push at this thing. And I'm looking forward to the season. I think that we're going to keep taking steps in the right direction.
Okay. Now, as far as, being a leader, looking at the guys, have any of the young guys started to stand out to you in OTAs as far as the defensive linemen are concerned?
Matt Supply has shown some good things. He's definitely been working hard. Cliff Matthews has put on some weight, and he's been doing a lot of good things. Babs is Babs. He's going to always play hard, and he's going to always be a great player, very underrated player in my personal opinion. I like what OC brings to the table. He's definitely a hard worker. His energy in practice actually helps everybody out a lot and kind of keeps everybody going. He's a very positive individual, and that's great. And as far as like some of the rookies, it's hard to say right now. Haven't really had an opportunity to, it's hard to evaluate a defensive or offensive lineman, with no pads on. But I'm looking forward to camp. I think everybody really is. It's getting, right now it's at the point where everybody's kind of ready to really get going. Of course, and 2 weeks into camp, everybody's gonna be like, "What was I thinking?" But You know, this is really exciting. I'm really excited about getting out of the way.
So I imagine that's something that comes with youth. You know, someone like Tony Gonzalez is probably really relishing his time off, but you know, you as a younger player tend to be a little bit more eager to start hitting people, I guess.
Right. Now Tony is different. You know, Tony's been doing it for such a long time, and you know, I'm sure he's excited about the season as well. You know, we're looking forward to getting him back out there and to, you know, he's always a great person for us to go against as a defense because he makes everybody better.
Okay. Corey, you had a particularly awesome highlight play 2 years ago when you made a one-handed interception against Cam Newton to kind of seal that win. Has anybody ever approached you about, you know, getting some snaps on offense, maybe playing some tight end in the goal line or anything like that?
Nah. They, you know, I used to beg in college, you know, to play on offense, but I'll probably drop it in the game if I had too much time to think about it, and I'll probably get overexcited and drop it. That's a real tough position. Chances are you're gonna get hit after you catch it. So, you know, I think I'm all right where I'm at.
So you wouldn't want to be like a goal line fullback and plow people over?
I think I would love to kind of get an opportunity to kind of lead block or something like that. But as far as trying to catch the ball, unless I'm wide open, I don't know.
Okay.
Like, I just had Mike Johnson pop in my head, that play from last year.
Right. He had a touchdown, right?
He did.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, how did the defensive lineman kind of feel about Big Mike Johnson getting that touchdown catch?
We don't make any mistakes about it. Everybody on the defensive line is 8 times more athletic, got better hands, you know, all of that than Mike Johnson. You know, you could tell him I said that. But, you know, it comes with he plays our big tight end in, you know, in our goal line show yard situation. So, you know, that's kind of the perks of the position. But he's also in there blocking, too, so you know how that goes.
I mean, considering that's his job normally, I'm sure he doesn't complain too much.
Right.
Easier to block a linebacker than it is to block a defensive end or a defensive tackle like you.
Right. I would hate to. I don't know how they do it, honestly. I don't think I could ever be an O-line. I had some offers coming out of high school to be an O-line, and I passed that up.
I've always looked at it this way. There's two kinds of guys. There's the defenders who like to hit and the offensive guys who like to get hit.
Mm-hmm. That's basically what you're left with. You know, now if I could have been a quarterback or something, now that'd have been different. But I can't throw, and I'm you know, I get scary. You know, I don't see how they just stand back there and, you know, you can't see all the people, so you get rid of the ball.
Okay. So you make a habit of terrorizing quarterbacks as opposed to
trying to.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Corey, I want to get you out on this, and you know, you're entering your contract year, and does that put any sort of pressure on you, or, you know, are you just kind of like approaching it like any other year or anything like that?
Well, for me, you know, the NFL is always an evaluation period. So, I mean, you know, there's always pressure to perform, and, you know, I'm not, you know, I know that everybody's position is up for grabs. So, you know, I'm approaching it pretty much like every other year, and that's basically with the mindset that if I don't perform, then I'm not going to be here. So, you know, I'm going to work hard, and I'm going to do my very best. But, you know, I don't think it's any more pressure than any year. And, you know, basically just going to go out there and do what I always do, continue to work hard. Like I said, I feel so good right now, much better than I have in the past, I guess, 2 or 3 years. And, you know, I mean, from a physical standpoint, and I'm really looking forward to training camp getting started.
Okay, Corey. We appreciate having you on. I believe your Twitter handle is at Corey Peters 91. Is that correct?
Yep. Yes, sir.
And your camp is July the 13th?
Right.
All right. Any other things you'd like to plug for us before we get you out?
Well, that's all I got coming up. You know, if you're in Louisville, make sure you can make it if you got a kid or know somebody. There'll be a lot of good people out there. You know, we'll talk to the kids and we'll feed them and we'll have a good time, if nothing else.
Hey, this is Rob McClain from Atlanta Falcons cornerback, and you're listening to Falcons Central Radio Show.
Welcome back to the Falcons Central Radio Show. We're here with our special guest, Jamal Anderson. Not the 2007 draft pick, the Jamal Anderson we all love, the 1998 running back who invented the Dirty Bird. How's it going, Jamal?
Good. How you guys doing?
Doing pretty good.
Doing pretty good, sir.
Looking forward to football starting, right?
Exactly.
The off season.
I know.
This is the time of the off season that's worst because nothing happens.
Yeah, that's true. It's a slow time. You know, it's funny because when I was playing football, this was like I wouldn't say my favorite part of the off season, but you kind of relish because you've been training. Hopefully you've been training all off season and you've had your mini camps and everything. You kind of relish these last couple weeks break to try to refresh your mind and get away and, you know, relax before the season starts. And now as a fan, I'm like, let's go, baby. Get to camp.
Yeah, I had to get my football fix last week by watching the CFL season opener, just to wet the whistle, I guess.
What season opener?
Canadian Football League.
Oh, TFL, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? I've been up there. I've been to some games. I've had lots of friends who played up there. I got a lot of respect for what they've been doing up there for a number of years. I'll check it out every now and then. I've been traveling, man. I've been crazy busy getting ready for the season. I know we got a lot that's going to be coming up, so I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing what these Falcons do.
So are we.
Me too. And speaking of which, what are your thoughts on this year's team and their ability to get back to the Super Bowl? I
mean, this is a top-notch. The specialist on the offensive side of the ball, you know, they don't get any better. I mean, obviously Tony Gonzalez, Matt Ryan, these are guys. And Tony top 5 in his position, Matt for sure top 10. You got 2 wide receivers who are both arguably top 15, top 10 maybe wide receivers in football, and you got Steven Jackson who just has never been in an offense with this many weapons surrounding what he has already been shown that he's capable of doing in his career in St. Louis. So, you know, as long as obviously you need an offensive line. You need the guys up front to work. There's going to be a transition, not having Todd McClure and, you know, Kuntz moving over to center. But, you know, the line is going to be a factor. How they play, obviously that's going to impact everybody on offense. But from a weapons point of view, I mean, I'm looking for, you know, at least 4 touchdowns a game on the offensive side of the ball. These guys should really thrive, and I really expect Steven Jackson to thrive in this offense and with those weapons around him. And, you know, defensively, that's probably the biggest, you know, question marks for these guys. And obviously, young safeties who have played better and who had some success getting turnovers last year. And, you know, you got a quarterback situation. We got a rookie coming in there, first round draft pick though, so you have expectations from Trufant, you know. And then obviously pick 6 on the other side, who really came in and did a fine job last year for the Falcons, and looking forward to seeing what he's going to do this year. But the linebacker core led by Spoon, and the defensive line, you know, O.C. Umenyiora is there, and I don't know what's going to happen. If there's going to be any moves in free agency, I was kind of thinking. Obviously, you got some guys with some potential that came in the draft and the late round picks, and you just don't know. I'm a late round pick. I don't discount those guys. But I fully expect this team, though, in this long summation. I'm going to went from position to position like I was in the meeting room with the coaches. But I fully expect this team to certainly win 10 games, 11, 12 games. 10 to 12 games easily, and be in a situation to compete with the 49ers and the Seahawks and the Packers and teams like that, because the NFC is going to be tough this year.
Okay. I think you dispelled any doubts out there for anybody listening that you still bleed black and red.
Yeah, listen, it's not just, my thing is, I've only played for one team. Everywhere I go in this beautiful country of ours. I don't care. I was in Portland. I was in Bandon Dunes in Oregon. People recognize me immediately as the Dirty Bird. It's crazy to me. And so it's always going to be a part of me. And I live in Atlanta. And I work, in television and on radio. And so I follow football closely and the best teams and what those teams are doing. And, of course, I would love to see the Falcons do well. It pained me. As much as I love Drew Brees and what he's done for New Orleans is so commendable, and I know we have that rivalry going, but he's a fantastic guy. But it broke my heart to see the ring before us. I was like, oh God. So I certainly would like to see the Falcons do well. I certainly do my best to support, respect and support the legacy that we had as Falcons and what we were able to accomplish, although not the consistent level of success that the team is enjoying now. We like to think there was a lot of work to get to where we were, and it felt like we had something to do with pushing the sails in the right direction for consistent success that the franchise is enjoying now.
No doubt, no doubt.
So would you say that the 98 team was kind of the catalyst that said, hey, maybe a new owner, maybe a new regime will help everything out? Or did you think Dan Reeves was the guy?
It's funny because, they just had all that old Mount Rushmore stuff and everything not too long ago, and everybody's getting all caught up in that. And it's funny how the Falcons thing ended up kind of made so much sense in the selections, from whether it was the TV guys or the fan selections. To be a part of that was a complete honor for me, considering that there were so many worthy players. But my thing is, when you start looking at what this team was able to do and start changing and bringing energy, you do have to go back to Deion, because he was such a big draft pick. He brought a lot of energy. He brought a different level of excitement. And I also think, he brought this off-field whole thing that the Atlanta people really embraced. And then you look at a couple years later, Andre Rison, who was a fantastic player for a number of years, who put up numbers, and he had all this other stuff, but he was exceptional on the football field. He was a performer as well. And then obviously Billy White shoes prior to him, but then we came in and we were able to. That's the only thing that I regret. We consistently be successful, but we were able to come in and do some things and get to a Super Bowl, and celebrating the whole time, and then bringing that in. And then my last couple of years, having Mike Vick come in, wishing that I could have been part of his early part of his career to help him be more consistent and maybe realize and achieve things that he wasn't able to accomplish as a Falcon. And we know what that ended up being. But, I think we tried to change. I know when I got here, I'd never been part of a losing anything. I never had a losing season in my life until I arrived in Atlanta. And I'm talking about, I started playing football when I was 7. So, to me, it was not something that I was going to tolerate, accept, or going to be a part of in the long term. It was, I wanted to be a part of something that was going to change, something that was going to be a winner, something that people could be fired up to come watch play. And that's how I showed up to work as much as I could. And, I don't look back too much, and people always ask me how my knees are, this, that, and the other. That's the one thing I look, and I go, God, in the prime of my career, I got hurt twice. What could we have been and what could we have done had I not gotten injured in those 2 seasons with the teams that we had, and how we could have maybe been more consistent of a franchise coming into the 2000s. But, it happens. Everything happens for a reason. But the Falcons are in the right direction, and I think you can't look at this organization and not take them seriously, what Mr. Blank has done, what Mike Smith and Matt Ryan have come in and done, and obviously we all want more consistent success in the playoffs, but the fact that we have a team that's one of the best teams in football each and every year and going to be competitive, I think you, as a Falcon fan and somebody who's a part of the organization, even from the fringe, you have to be proud of that, you know?
Oh, most definitely. So, speaking of ownership, how would you compare the two different groups? Because you were one of the few guys that actually was under both groups.
Right. You know, here's the thing. I have a lot of respect for the Smith family because they put they you know, since the franchise's inception, you know, Rankin Smith bought the team first. His son ran it, Rankin Jr., for a number of years until Taylor's stewardship for a number of years. It's a different level. You know, I think Arthur Blank, fortunately, is in a different financial situation where he's able to do more things and was able to quickly realize some of the things that were deficiencies in the organization or things that could have been done consistently better. But I have a tremendous amount of respect, again, for what Smith family did for a number of years and what they attempted to do when you talk about, you know, winning games and, you know, from coaches and players and stuff like that. It's just sometimes some people do it better than others, bottom line. And I think having the hindsight of previous ownership is greatly beneficial if you really look at the lessons that the previous organization, whether good or bad, you look at some of the lessons that they've had to endure and learn and teach in order to put together a consistent product on the field. And I think Arthur Blank has certainly done those things. And here's the benefit of it. You know, get good people around you who know what they're doing, who know how to build a team, who know how to run a team, who know how to lead a team. And, you know, you put those people in place and, you know, you give them the things that they need and necessary tools, and you should win. You should, you know, you should win. It's not simple, but it's being achieved right now in Atlanta.
I'll agree with you there. Got to put the right guys in the right spots at the right times. Right. It's kind of like the coach for the organization.
Exactly.
So,
Jamal, I just have a question for you. I've gotten into some arguments with some people in the past about, you know, how the 2012 Falcons would stack up against the 98 Falcons. And, you know, I'm just curious what you would think. Because I tell people that 98 team was the best team we had, you know, the Falcons have ever had in their, you know, nearly 50 years of existence. And, you know, I just tell people, I just tell people that, you know, if the 98 team played the 2012 team, you know, thanks to, you know, that 98 team would just pound the ball down the 2012 team's throat. Right. And they also had the pass rush to get after the quarterback.
Right. You know, here's the thing. You know, Bob Whitfield was my left tackle. He was a Pro Bowler and one of the best tackles in football for a number of years. Again, you know, a victim of being a Falcon and the team not consistently winning, because when we won, he was, boom, selection. It was kind of a hype parade back then. You know, Robbie Tobeck was the center. Gene Williams, a guard. You know, my right tackle was Ephraim Salam. You know, you can't go OJ Santiago at tight end. Yeah, Tony Gonzalez is one of the greatest to do it. And Matt Ryan is a stud. Chris Chandler had a fantastic season. You know, Tony and Terrence, although not Roddy and Julio in stature, they both were 1,000-yard receivers who averaged over 17 yards a catch. You can't bat an eye at those numbers, you know? So, you know, it's funny because I've been asked this plenty of times. I think the biggest difference probably between the two, because this is a great, what they were able to do, you know, certainly not going to get into me and Michael Turner whole thing, because y'all know I'm better. I'm playing. Anyway, so Mike was a great pickup for the Falcons, and look at the numbers, man. The numbers he was able to put up the past 4 seasons were impressive. But I think the biggest difference in our teams is probably the defensive side of the ball. You know, we had Jesse Tuggle and Cornelius Bennett at linebacker, Chuck Smith at defensive end. You know, our defensive line that year with Lester Archambault, Travis Hall, and Shane Jornett, they led the league in sacks, man. Like, both the ends were double-digit guys, and our tackles were nearly double-digit guys. So, like, they were the defensive line that year and the backups and the guys that played, they were a big-time factor. Henri Crockett at linebacker. We just had, and on that side of the ball, Ray Buchanan was one of the best cornerbacks in football. Obviously, Eugene Robinson. Unfortunate how it ended, but he had a fantastic season for us, you know. And Michael Booker was a young guy, but he was a first-round pick. He came and did some work. And Ronnie Bradford as well. So Ronnie Bradford really held down that other side, and he was what people kind of considered initially a journeyman corner, but he was so solid, especially next to Ray's Dion tendencies. But you know, they worked for him that year, and I think that's where that defense that year they were just they were tough. And I think this team in 2012 last year, they really did a great job of coming together, especially after, you know, we all know when Grimesy got hurt, it was like, oh my gosh, you know, and you kind of hoping Asante Samuel, you know, was going to come in and fit in and things were going to click, and they really worked out splendidly for the Falcons. So, you know, we won't, this conversation is going to turn the other direction because history and consistency will be on the side of Matt Ryan and Mike Smith. So if this team wins, then expect them to be this year and fights again for a Super Bowl and actually gets there, well, you know, we're done. But I don't have a problem with that, man. I love the celebration, and I love to see, you know, for me, the look on the Falcons fans' faces, because Falcons fans and the core and solid and thorough of them are some of the best fans of football. And I've always, that's been one of my, if I have to look back with any regret, it's like, oh man, how did I get hurt in my prime? Because we had such dreams to take this team to another place and to do what these guys are doing now and win a Super Bowl and, you know, those kind of things. So, and I think these fans are deserving, but I'm so happy that there's a consistent winner. So at least during the falls, people are in a good mood because the Falcons are good. At least a good football team that you can watch every week and be proud of.
Yeah, we don't have a 3-13 year in year out team anymore. Thank God.
No, thank you, heavens. Cross your fingers, brother. Everybody got to stay healthy. You know, health is of critical importance. In talking about that, you know, you make no excuses for where you end up. But you know, I got hurt twice. Mike Vick was hurt twice, major seasons. So, you know, you look at the top players in certain seasons, you know, you look at from maybe 99, let's say 2004 or 5, you know, there was 2 seasons where the top player on the Falcons organization missed the majority or half of the games that year. And that hurts your team, you know, but it is what it is, man. So that's why you have to have solid people behind guys and people prepared and veterans around you. So if somebody does get hurt that you really count on, that deficiency doesn't show to that level.
I agree with you there.
Speaking of injuries, I just wanted to see what you thought about this. You know, everybody knows that your career sort of ended short because of knee injuries. So what are your thoughts on the sort of season that Adrian Peterson had last year?
It was nuts, man. You know, I wrote about this when he got hurt because we were talking about it on TV, and they were like, what do you think? Well, you think he'll be back for game 1? And I was like, there's no doubt in my mind. Like, I just know, I mean, I've watched this guy really since I first saw a clip of him when he was like 16 years old in Texas, man. And he was a monster. And I kind of tracked him. And I did his first game on ABC, his first Oklahoma game on ABC. And he didn't even start the game. He ended up with like 170-something yards. It was like, I was like, what the hell? I just didn't know. What is this thing? What is this guy? I don't remember talking to Stoops about him, and he was like, oh, he's going to be a good one. And I'm watching these guys walk through, and the kids about to walk by me, and I'm like, heavens, he's a kid. And he was already just a specimen. And, you know, we talked, and I've had a chance to talk to him about some of the things and being more patient and running and how to kind of achieve his goals as a running back. And I tell you what, man, nobody works harder. Nobody hits the hole harder. He's just so impressive. And I felt like he was going to have a good season and at least he would be back. But no way, under any way, shape, or form, did I expect him to be a first down short of Eric Dickerson's record coming off an ACL. That's just ridiculous.
Football fans, looking to get healthy this year? Now is the time, and I have the perfect place for you. Save 10% at onit.com/football radio. Exclusive PFC radio listeners save 10% off their order. That's onit.com, ONNIT.com/football radio.
All right, we had 2 great interviews with Corey Peters and Jamal Anderson.
Jamal's always been one of my personal favorites. Dirty Butt.
Mine too. Corey Peters, it's great talking to him, listening to him talk about how, he's approaching this upcoming season with renewed intensity based off of the adversity he went through last year. And I wish we could have talked to Jamal. We probably could have gone on with Jamal for, 2-3 more hours if we had the opportunity. I should plug Jamal Anderson's Twitter. It's jam the Dirty Bird. He's tweeting about all types of stuff, so he's a good follow for people out there. We're going to try to close the show once again with some mailbag questions. There was one particular mailbag question that we got asked this week, and I wanted my co-host Scott to be able to address this question and sort of set the record straight. So, Scott, the floor is yours.
All right. So there's a mugshot of myself floating around the internet. One. Yeah, not exactly ideal, but it's also kind of, use of a better word, bullshit. I got arrested for driving under a suspended license in BFE, South Carolina, on the way to the Falcons Buccaneers game in this past season on that Friday night before. Shit happens. I didn't even know my license was suspended. They made me spend 14 hours in jail because I didn't even know my license was suspended. Apparently there was an issue with the registration. I got it all taken care of and cleared up, and it got completely dropped. However, the mugshot's still out there, and the sites don't take it down unless you pay them $200, and I ain't paying a dime for something that got completely expunged on my record. However, the state has issued me a formal apology, has paid me some cash in restitution for putting me in there with a now convicted double murderer. Yeah, he killed some guys in New York and had open bench warrants for it. Apparently, they didn't know that when they sentenced him the first time. So he got 5 years, got out, got caught on a weed charge. Apparently a drug deal went south. He killed a couple guys. Huge story that he had. I was sitting there freaking out as he was telling me the story. He asked me what I was in for. I'm just like, I have a suspended license apparently. He was like, oh, you're getting out of here tomorrow. I was like, I hope I am. I got a Falcons game to go to. I got tickets and everything sitting in the car. I had a friend of mine chilling at a hotel in BFE, South Carolina for a night. It was not good. Anyway, yeah, not exactly a fun situation. I mean, yeah, not exactly a fun situation. And the entire, like, one of the questions that I asked throughout the night was, "You're not gonna like kill or rape me or anything, right?" And he was like, "No." I mean, should I have lied? Should have been like, "Yeah, I'm in here for assault." I mean, I don't think so, but.
No, that's thug life right there.
Yeah, thug life. I'm not skinny. I'm a short white Jewish kid from the suburbs. I know who I am. I'm no thug. I'm a dorky dude who watches way too much football and eats way too many wings.
Okay, sounds perfectly normal to me. Too much football and too much wings. I don't know if those two conditions exist, but
that is one of my favorite questions to ask people on interviews. What their favorite wing flavor is. Tell a lot about a man by his favorite wing flavor: lemon pepper, and not dry lemon pepper, but wet lemon pepper.
Okay. I'm partial to teriyaki myself.
Teriyaki is awesome. I'm not going to disagree with you there.
I mean, chicken wings. It's not like you can.
You can't really fuck them up, but you can. Good ones.
Yeah.
I mean, they're you got to be really good at making chicken wings to make good ones. We got a place here in Charleston called DD Peckers that does a great job making chicken wings.
Okay. Well, I fascinated. I don't even know if fascinated is the right word, but the fact that you had to spend a night in jail with a convicted murderer, and
well, he wasn't convicted at the time.
Oh, okay.
He'd only been convicted of assault and drug charges, like possession of marijuana, which is, again, to me, that's something that, one, there should be amnesty, and two, there should be no marijuana charges. But that's political. That's beside the point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when you said when he asked you what you were in for, and you basically told him the truth, I think I would have been in that situation where I would definitely made something. I don't know what I would have made up on the fly, but something more than driving with a suspended license. I don't know.
I mean, they caught me speeding, which is true. I was like, dude, yeah, it's bad. It happens. I didn't know what the speed limit was. They dropped that charge completely. They dropped the suspended license charge completely. All they hit me with was failure to change address on the license, which is a $30 fine in the state of South Carolina. That's it. And then they paid me that back. Because they're like, oh, we put you in with that guy.
Yeah. It's crazy, man.
He was like, dude, I'm going away for a while. I'm not going to see anybody for a long time. I'm like, oh, damn.
So he was eyeing you up pretty good. You were probably the last person he might see for a long time.
Probably not, dude. I'm not exactly the most attractive dude when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Well, you got to take what you can get.
Yeah, well, he was about to go into general pop with the girly boys anyway, so I mean that's his thing.
Okay.
That's what he's gonna have a nice diet of for the next few years. And thank God I don't know this dude's name, because it's just like, oof. He was pretty rough. I mean, he wasn't like serial killer, like prison rough, but he was just like, let's put it this way, Dexter would have had him on the table.
Okay. All right.
And because I'm pretty sure he went away for a long time, he has no clue who I am.
But you're world famous now.
Yeah, if you like the Falcons and if you can find our show.
Okay.
No, Brian, the internet is not in prison.
I just don't want, him to contact his boys on the outside and come by your house and rough you up.
Yeah, I don't think that they're gonna get mad at me for self-deprecation here.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, dude, we're sorry we put you in there with that guy. Did he do anything to you? No, he just passed out on the bed. Like, just passed out on the bed. It was pretty cool. Once I was like, dude, are you gonna do anything? He's like, nah, I'm going to sleep. That was it. He's like, wake me up when there's food. Okay. I woke him up when there was food, and then I got out. The judge looked at me and was like, the only thing you've ever been convicted of is speeding tickets. Get out of my jail. Okay, sir. If that's what you want me to do, okay. They had me changed within the next 20 minutes. I was out. I was changed out, handed all my stuff, get the hell out of here. They had me wait to go last in bond court, though, because they're like, you had the least charge. It was hilarious.
So, how were the showers?
I didn't take one. I was there for 12 to 14 hours, somewhere in that range. I thought about writing a blog about it, but I mean, at this point, it's kind of pointless.
Okay. Well, Scott, do we have any other topics we want to hit real quick before we call it a night?
I mean, now that we've talked about my night in jail, I've got one more thing.
Okay.
All right. Been looking towards this cap space that apparently we don't have. And this whole Richard Seymour situation. And I'm going to put one more nail into the coffin of I don't think he's signing with anybody. I think he's retiring. Yeah.
All right. Hit me.
Atlanta's going to have to come up a good amount. Oh, yes, and the incompetent boob network is now dead. Incarcerated Bob.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right.
Ingratiated. I'm out of acronyms.
Okay.
There's only so many words that start with I.
Yeah, that's true. So what's up with this cap space?
The Falcons right now are going to have about $2 million or so left with Matt Ryan's deal. After signing all the rookies with Matt Ryan's deal, keep his cap space the same. They'll have about $2 million left to go through the season with and do whatever the hell they want to. If they want to sign somebody, they can. If they don't have to worry about it. I feel like they're going to cut Jerry this year either way.
Hope so. I mean, no offense to Jerry, but
I wanted to ask Corey about Jerry, but I was just like, that might be a sore subject. He might be friends with Pere.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to do it, but I was just like, because players don't look at guys the same way that fans do.
That is true.
As you can tell about the whole Josh Smith thing. There are Hawks fans that love him. There are players that love him. But for the most part, Hawks fans are like, dude, we're done. Get out of our city. No, we're not giving you a max contract. And if they do give you a max contract, we're same old Hawks.
Yeah. You think fans aren't, too enthusiastic about Dante Robinson, but I'm sure, he was beloved in the locker room among the Falcon fans, and they're going to miss him. But, I don't know if anybody in the stadium, in the stands, is going to miss him too much this year. So I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure Thomas Deku, I'm sure William Moore, I'm sure they loved Grimes, I'm sure they loved Dante Robinson. But sometimes I'm viewing Josh Smith the way I viewed Grimes more than I'm viewing him as Dante Robinson.
Well, yeah.
They're always paid.
Because Josh Smith is actually good. Unlike
that too. But, like, it wasn't that he wasn't good. It was that he made his bones in Atlanta. He showed his, Atlanta showed him support when they didn't need to, basically. They could have traded him a long time ago. And then he's kind of repaying Atlanta with saying, hey, I want as much money as possible. It's like, come on, dude. We know it's a business, but if you take the $15 million, you go out there with Al and you guys start recruiting guys, and it's Al Horford and Josh Smith recruiting the third guy to help people out, maybe it makes more sense. But no. No. He didn't do that. If he wanted to be a true team player, he'd say, hey, that deal that Al signed, give me one exactly like it or I walk. And the team would be like, all right, 5 years, $12 million a year, go for it. We can't complain about that.
Nope.
Because that's 24 of your $60 million locked up into two guys, yeah. But you've got enough room for a max contract. You've got a whole bunch of room for another couple of mid-level guys. You got the space to have an actual team put together if he does that. Otherwise, you're just looking at Dwight Howard's going to go get a max contract somewhere. Josh Smith's going to get traded for like Omar Asik, which I'd be perfectly happy with, to be honest with you. Because Al Horford is a power forward and Josh Smith is a center. And Omar Asik's a center.
Okay. Speaking of cap space, you said you didn't think Matt Ryan with his new contract was going to save us on any cap space this year?
I think what they're going to try and do is make it to where they can front load as much of the deal as they can for this year. So he might actually cut into the money for this year because it's not like they don't have cap space right this second. They've got about $6.5 million in cap space.
Mm-hmm.
You take out about $1 million for the last two rookies, Trufant and Renfrey. Take out about $1 million for those two. You're at $5.5 million. That means you can take another $3.5 million of Matt Ryan's contract to put it in this year. They're going to try and balance his contract a lot more than we think they will.
Okay.
But hopefully it looks more like Sam Baker's deal than it does. I don't know. Ray Edwards.
Okay. I was curious where you're going to go with that one. Okay.
Hopefully it looks more like a deal that fits the player as opposed to a deal that shouldn't have been signed in the first place.
Okay. So I guess that's it for this episode of the Falcons Central Radio Show. You can find us on Pro Football Central. Keep those mailbag questions coming. I don't know if we'll have one as good as Scott's night in jail, but I'm sure people can come up with some great questions that we can answer on next week's show.
And I'm going to get questions based on that this week, and it's going to be hilarious, but hey, it happened. It is what it is. Whatever.
You can find both of us on Twitter. I'm at FalcFans. Scott is at Scott Carasik. The show has its own Twitter handle. That's at FalconsPFC. And, of course, follow at PF Central to get updates on when the show will be posted.
And one more final thank you to Jamal Anderson and Corey Peters for coming on. It was awesome speaking with both of y'all. Thank you again. And that's it for this week's Falcons Central Radio Show.
This has been a presentation of the Pro Football Central Network. For news, blogs, highlights, and more, log on to ProFootballCentral.com.